Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Corner Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13. This is Dad from Devil Derby.
This is Odorous from Quad. You're listening to Rabid Noise
on Rabid Radio.
Turn it up.
Thanks for joining us on Rabid Noise, dude. It's really appreciated that you've taken the time out to chat to us, man. You're going to be touring here again this month in support of your latest album, The Mind Suite, as mentioned before, and it's just been over just about a year since your last visit, and you've been here tons of times before, so you've almost classed as a local now, aren't you?
I mean, it is one of the places that we tour where we feel very much at home straight away. I think everyone's usually so friendly, and it's just got a similar atmosphere, even though a similar atmosphere as Britain, but with much nicer weather. So yeah, no, it's we go there as much as we can.
Do you find that after you've toured somewhere a few times that you get pretty familiar with the place? There's certain places that you guys make an effort to visit when you're down here.
I guess. I mean, usually because we do Australia like in the middle of what is a sort of world tour, I guess. You usually just want to do anything that involves relaxing, so we usually just try and get to the beach whenever possible. But yeah, no, this time the gigs have been a little more sparser. Is that a word? They've been more sparse over summer as we've been winding down from the Mind Suite touring era. So yeah, we're in a much sort of better place. So hopefully I'll be able to get over the jet lag and be able to do a bit more, a bit more of an active tour and actually get out and see some more places than we normally would.
You're bringing Hacktivist with you this time too, and they're amazing live. What is it about those guys that make them awesome tour mates?
Well, we've just known them for ages since they started. Really, they're from a neighbouring city to us, and I think as well, that they're sort of they have a similar mindset to us in terms of the fearlessness, making music that takes inspiration from different genres. They obviously have a lot to say as well in terms of the socially conscious lyrics and stuff. So yeah, no, they're good boys.
Does it get pretty rowdy with those dudes after the show?
Oh mate, yeah, they're certainly big partiers. I'm like the least party guy of our band, so I'm not the one to speak to in terms of that. But no, it's certainly he usually gets a bit rowdy. But I'm the kind of guy who's tucked up in bed with a book. So, yeah.
Well, I just saw your doco as well, and it just looks like that tour was just insane, and the production just alone looked like it took you guys quite a lot of time to put together. What was the biggest obstacle you guys faced when sorting all that out?
Man, it was by far the most time and effort that we've put into a tour. I think in terms of if we stepped back from it, the biggest sort of point that we really wanted to be thinking about every stage of the process was how to make sure that these big, expansive, sterile venues became sort of a hub of energy and community, and it still felt like a sort of, a smaller punk show that we've been doing all our lives. That we wanted. That was quite a conscious thing in our minds, and so that was kind of the reason why we were so ambitious with the production. So the whole thing with the quadraphonic surround sound, which is something that hasn't been done live since Pink Floyd did it in the 80s, 70s and 80s. So it was a huge undertaking. I think when we sort of first decided to do it, we were perhaps a bit naive just to what a big thing it was. So that's why it was 3 months of pretty ridiculous hours, because we're so DIY. It was often me and Rory, or me and Chris. It wasn't really. I say it was a bit like an office job, like a 9 till 5. It was more like a 9 till 11, or perhaps further into the night as well. Yeah, it was pretty hardcore, but no, I think that definitely helped creating the sort of more of a communal vibe, because wherever you were in the venue, you had sound coming from all around you, sort of circling you, if you like. So it really sort of made you feel sort of penned in, so a bit disconcerting, which I think is good from a theatrical sense. And we don't want people to be too comfortable. You know, it's not like going to the theatre, sitting down and watching an opera or something. We want people to feel a bit on edge. But also it created that communal vibe because it made people feel a bit more together, as sort of in being circled by the sound, or like penned in like sheep or something. So yeah, just things like that. You know, there's sort of like little, almost philosophical ways we can sort of change the concepts of the live show.
Must have been absolutely unreal when you guys were rehearsing that and just standing there and just hearing your music through those speakers. That would have been so sick.
Yeah, I mean, well, we started off in Chris, our bassist's garage, and we just had 4 little like studio speakers, one in each corner of the room, and so you couldn't really. We could program it there, but we couldn't grasp just what it would sound like in a big room. And yeah, when we had our first production rehearsals up in where was it? Somewhere in London. Yeah, it was one of those points where we put on the first interlude where it was, you know, full of these strange and eerie effects like looping around the room, and it was just one of those points where we just all looked at each other and just burst out laughing, just pure glee, pure joy. That, you know, the last 3 months of hard work was definitely worth it.
And are you bringing some of that stuff with you down on this tour?
Yeah, I feel bad about speaking about it with such enthusiasm, because no, I mean, unfortunately, it's so expensive, and the venues we're basically not really big enough in Australia to do anything like that yet. So yeah, it's just back to like a normal stereo headline show. Yeah.
Oh man, it's still going to be good. I mean, you guys are playing the Triffid, which is one of my favourite venues to play. That's in Brisbane, and it's unreal, man. It's like, have you seen that before, that venue?
I'm not sure. The name doesn't ring a bell, but I am the worst one out of all of us for remembering venues that we've played, so I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I mean, we can't wait to go back. The vibe in Australian shows is always amazing. Like, there's so much energy, and it's quite a varied set as well, and there's lots of like new stuff in the set that we didn't do in our headline tour over here in the UK. So yeah, we're really excited to be playing.
Oh, hell yeah, man. And of course, you know, not just Australia, I mean, you've toured all over the world, and you've probably played some insane places. What's the most danger you think you've felt you've been in while on tour?
Oh, blimey, that's a good one. Might have to ponder on that one. There's been a lot of points. I mean, there's been points in Russia. We were quite supportive of Pussy Riot when they were jailed, and we did various sort of benefit shows and sort of a few interviews, and it got picked up by the Russian state media. And one of our Russian fans sent us a video of basically, it was the Russian state TV channel news, and they were doing a special report on Pussy Riot, and they actually included a lot of footage of our gigs. And of course, we didn't know what they were saying, but the person who sent us the email was saying, like, basically, we're on now a watch list, a Russian watch list. So that was a bit scary, because you get some very, very fervent, violent, far right people in Russia who are very quick to come to shows and destroy venues and pick fights and things like that. So that was a bit of a scary tour that we did in Russia, whenever that was, a few years ago now. And playing Malaysia as well was a bit strange, because we're quite sort of, we're not like a militant atheist band, but we have songs about religion and its various negative effects, and about atheism, and playing a venue that was right next to a mosque in a country that is very deeply religious. That was also slightly scary. The promoter sat us down and made a massive list of things we can and cannot say, and can do and cannot do on stage, and things like that. And there's been a few points like that. And there's also been a few run-ins with far-right groups here in the UK. Like I remember we played Nottingham once, and there was a massive group of basically neo-Nazis that came to the show. That was a bit troublesome. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, there's been a lot of instances like that, but we've always managed to get out of it.
That's full on, man. That's actually more full on than I thought it was going to be. You know, but hey, if it's pushing buttons, man, making people think, you know, and educating people, then, you know, you're on the right track, I think. Yeah, and I mean, I guess as well, if you're pissing off neo-Nazis, then you're probably doing something good. Awesome, man. Well, you know, have you guys got ideas for a follow-up to Mind Sweep? Have you been cooking ideas up? Yeah, I mean, we're not, like, probably sort of taking time off to write and heading to the studio until after these tours, the Japan and Australian tours. But I've definitely been getting ahead of the game. I mean, I had, like, this idea of a sort of a slightly new direction, really. And it was very much just in my head, and I wanted to sort of, get ahead of the game and extrapolate it and see if it works in the real world outside of my imagination. So I've been demoing quite a lot over the last month or two. And that's really exciting. I think that hopefully that will all settle in, and we'll be able to progress with this sort of slightly new vibe in the coming months. Unfortunately, I mean, we won't even be going into the studio until I think it's about February. So the album itself won't be out until sort of mid to late 2017, which feels so far away right now. But we're starting to get excited here. Yeah. Oh man, it'll go so quick. I mean, this year alone's gone pretty quick. So I mean, fans can wait a little bit longer. I mean, you need at least a couple of days of break up touring, especially, you know, a couple of years on a massive tour like that, you know. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it'll come around very quick. Yeah, man. Yeah, well, we definitely can't wait, dude. Well, you know, thanks again for joining us on the show tonight, man, and we'll see you in Brisbane on September 20 at the Triffid. Wicked. Well, yeah, thank you for having me, and we'll catch you there.